Good morning, guys. So we just got a new letter from Eddie the entomologist in the mail today. So I'm going to read it, and remember, you're supposed to guess what insect do you think we're going to be studying today. It says, Dear EITs. Remember, EITs means entomologist in training. I'm happy to hear that you've taken the time to learn more about the parts of an insect. Remember, yesterday we talked about all the parts that made an insect an insect. Now you will be able to look for them on each new insect we study. Are you ready to guess your first insect? So here are your clues. 1. This insect is tiny and round. 2. This insect is red with black dots. Do you have a guess now? And 3. This insect can fly. Can you guess what it is? Your friend Eddie. So what do you think it is? He's left me some pictures. Let's see. It starts out as eggs, these little bitty eggs. It turns into a larva that looks like this. And then as an adult, it is a ladybug. Let's review those clues real quick again. It's tiny and round. He's got that round body that has red with black dots, and the insect can fly. Now, not all ladybugs are red, but we're going to actually study about that today, okay? So we're going to get to read a nonfiction book about ladybugs to research them. So our nonfiction book today is called Ladybugs World of Insects, and it's written by Martha Rustad. And then you can tell that this is probably going to be a nonfiction book. Remember, it's just going to give us facts because we have this table of contents. So our table of contents right here is telling us that we're going to find out about what is a ladybug on page 4, a ladybug's life on page 5, what do ladybugs eat on page 13, and then ladybugs fly on page 18. And then we have a glossary on 22, and then it says to learn more. That's where it gives us those extra resources like websites and books we can visit to get information, and our index on page 24. All right, ladybugs are insects. They are a kind of beetle. So sometimes you'll hear them be called lady beetles too. Ladybugs hatch from eggs in the spring. So you can tell there's something special about these two words, insects and beetle. Look, they're big, they're bold. It's called bold printed. Remember, that bold print tells us that if we don't know what that word insects means, we can go all the way back to the glossary, and then the glossary will give us a definition and tell us what it means, which we know from yesterday what an insect is. Remember, there are certain things it has to have. It can't have a backbone. It has to have that exoskeleton, that hard shell. It has 6 legs. It usually has antennas, and it can have wings too. And they always have to be cold-blooded too. They're not going to be warm-blooded like a mammal. All right, so here are the ladybugs hatching from their eggs. Baby ladybugs are called larvae. A ladybug larva is long and spiny. So look, this larva looks nothing like what you would think of a ladybug later on. Its body looks totally different. Its favorite food is aphids. Aphids are pests that kill plants. So the ladybugs actually really help us out because they decide to eat all those aphids which are damaging crops and everything. A lot of times, farmers will actually go and get ladybugs and put them in their crops to keep them from killing these little things called aphids because they eat lots of aphids. A larva eats and grows for 3 or 4 weeks, so it takes about a month. Then it builds a shell around its body. So just like a butterfly, the ladybug builds a shell too. Its body changes inside the shell. Soon an adult ladybug hatches. So remember, it had 3 parts. It started out as an egg, then a larva, then it turns into a full adult. Most adult ladybugs start out yellow. They do not have spots. Soon their bodies may change color. Many turn red or orange with spots. So you can see this ladybug is not red, it's orange. Ladybugs have strong jaws for chewing. Your jaws, remember, is that part that helps you chew. They can eat up to 50 insects a day. Ladybugs have antennas to feel and smell. Their antennas help them find aphids. All insects have 6 legs. Ladybugs have a claw on each leg. If you look very carefully, you can see this claw on the end. Ladybugs grab aphids with their claws. So they use those claws to catch their prey, but they also look, it helps them hold on to things like the stem of this plant. Ladybugs have 2 hard wings and 2 soft wings. They fly with their soft wings. So a lot of people look and see its shell on the outside and don't realize that's actually a hard wing that goes on top of those soft wings. And what it does is it protects those soft wings. The hard wings cover and protect the soft. Ladybugs gather together in fall. They find a safe place to rest for the winter. So, ladybugs rest during the winter. Can anyone think of that vocabulary word for animals that rest during the winter? That's right, hibernate. Ladybugs lay eggs in the spring. Soon, new ladybugs will hatch from the eggs, so it starts all over again. And then here's our glossary. So these are some of those bolded words that you might not know that we can look up. Antennas, remember, are those thin feelers on an insect's head that help them smell and taste and feel. An aphid is a tiny insect that sucks juices from plants. Aphids harm many crops. Remember, that's why ladybugs are really good for farmers, is because they actually eat those aphids. A beetle is an insect with 2 hard wings and 2 soft wings. The world has more beetles than any other kind of animal. So remember, a ladybug actually can be called a lady beetle sometimes. A claw is a sharp hook on the leg of an insect. An insect is a kind of animal with 6 legs. Most insects have a hard body, 2 antennas, and 2 or 4 wings. But the big thing is it's 6 legs. Remember, that's why a spider is not an insect. A spider has 8 legs. And then a jaw is the sharp part of a mouth of an insect. Ladybugs have jaws that can move from side to side. Our jaws usually move up and down. We can move them side to side, but when a ladybug eats, they move their side to side to eat. And a larva is a worm-like insect. So remember, a larva is the first stage of life for a lot of insects because they hatch from the egg to turn into a larva. And then pests are animals that damage crops, and spiny means covered with sharp. All right, so now that you've learned some really interesting facts about ladybugs, I'm going to show you what you're going to do with that information in Seesaw. So in Seesaw, you have this, we call it our insect journal entry, okay? So every day, you're going to have an insect journal entry, and you're going to think about some facts that you learned about this insect. And the first thing that we're going to do, though, is it has some labeling parts. So what it's wanting you to do is, you can see it's pointing at this part, that shell of the ladybug. And remember, what do we call that? We call that the wing. It's one of the wings. Remember, a ladybug actually has 4 wings. So you would write the word wing because you're labeling that part. And then this part is pointing to that thing that sticks out of their head to help them taste and feel, which is an antenna. Very good. So you would move the word antenna right over here beside its part. Then you're going to come down to the bottom and it says fact 1, fact 2, fact 3. And so what you're going to do is you're going to think of 3 facts about an insect. Remember, they can be very simple facts when you're writing them. So I might say that the ladybug has 4 wings. So I could just write the ladybug has 4 wings. So there's one of my facts right there. And so then I could think of some other facts. So let's brainstorm some facts about ladybugs real quick. What do we know? You can say they can fly. That's as simple of a fact that you can write. You can say they eat aphids. You can say they hatch from an egg. So think of any of the facts that we learned from that book, and you're just going to have 1, 2, 3 facts. Here's where I want you guys to challenge yourself, though. I want to see if you guys can put those facts in a complete sentence. Remember, a complete sentence has to make sense all by itself. Okay, so that means it has a noun. So listen, the ladybug has 4 wings. Ladybug would be the noun, has is the verb, okay? And it has to have a capital at the beginning and it has to have a period at the end, okay? So I'm so excited to see all the facts that you guys have learned about ladybugs today. All right, guys, I'll see you tomorrow.